News Talk 1070 KHMO presents On the Mark with Mark Hespin. News Talk 1070 KHMO presents On the Mark with Mark Hespin. On the Mark is powered by Kunis Country Honda Hyundai, your number one Honda and Hyundai dealer in the tri-state area at 221 North 36th Street, Quincy. Faith, family, and giving back. That's Kunis Country. And now, here's Mark Hespin.
Good morning, Tri-States, and wherever you may be listening on the News Talk 1070 KHMO app. This is On the Mark. I am Mark Hespin, brought to you by Kunis Honda Hyundai, your number one Honda and Hyundai dealer in the Tri-State area, 221 North 36th Street in Quincy. You got to ask the guys at Kunis Honda Hyundai about their lifetime no-fear powertrain warranty on new and used vehicles. Just tell them Mark sent you. Welcome on into episode 209 of On the Mark here on this November 4th. Thank you so much for making me a part of your Saturday morning. And you can always follow me on Twitter/X at Mark Hespin, MarkHespen. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe there at Mark Hespin. Same thing. And follow the show On the Mark KHMO on Facebook for weekly updates throughout the week, you know, because we're only on here for this hour of block of time. And we got a lot to cram into today's hour. We'll have a full breakdown of Week 9 in the NFL. We will talk about the 4 biggest college football games of the day. We will talk about the NBA in-season tournament, which tipped off last night. But we got to start with the trade deadline has come and gone in the NFL. No major moves. But one team decided to blow up their defensive line, and the Chicago Bears were involved in that. And so you know that's where I'm starting this morning. It's Hespin headline number 1.
Hespin's headlines On the Mark.
All right, the trade deadline officially come and gone. The Washington Commanders were the big sellers at the deadline, getting rid of Montez Sweat and Chase Young, 2 really, really good defensive linemen, football players, guys that are really different, and what they bring to your team is different, and we're supposed to be absolute cornerstone pieces for the Washington football team and Commanders for years to come. But as the new regime seems to be taking hold and the prospect of having to pay those 2 guys a lot of money came down the pipeline, the Commanders decided to go in a different direction. Let's start with the Washington Commanders and what they're doing. I think the Washington Commanders are going a really interesting way into the tank mode, right? When you decide not to pay Montez Sweat and not to pay Chase Young and to let them go for a second rounder for Sweat and a third rounder for Chase Young, what you're saying is basically we are now looking toward the future. We are no longer thinking that this year is going to be a Super Bowl year or even probably a playoff year for you, no more. You're moving on from that. But in the way that you tank, the person you could probably have gotten the most for, like a Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, the wide receiver, you keep him. And you get prime time second and third round picks. And it seems as though the Commanders are investing in their young quarterback, in Sam Howell. It seems as though they're saying, listen, we want to lose games but continue to support Sam Howell. We want to see what Sam Howell has while also understanding let's try to lose some football games here. You know what I mean? Let's try to move into that higher draft positioning while also resetting the clock on our young quarterback and supporting the young quarterback. I think the Commanders they sent a sign that we believe in Sam Howell. We want to continue to support him in his growth while also doing the best we can to lose some football games. So it's a really interesting thing that the Commanders did, and kudos for them for getting back a second and a third rounder for players that you knew you weren't going to re-sign anyways. I mean, that is an impressive haul to get when the NFL knows you're not re-signing those guys and you're shopping them. Now, on the flip side, let's talk about the teams that gave them the haul. The Chicago Bears trading a second rounder for Montez Sweat. Well, here's just the facts of the matter. Through 8 weeks, the Bears have not had a bye week yet. So they played 8 football games. Through 8 weeks, The Chicago Bears defensive ends have 5 sacks. Montez Sweat has 6.5. The Chicago Bears defensive ends total have 11 tackles for losses. Montez Sweat has 10. The Chicago Bears defensive ends through 8 weeks have 13 quarterback hits. Montez Sweat himself has 11. So you are doubling your production with one player. And a player that is in his prime, a player that is absolutely a well-rounded, not just does one thing type of player, a guy who will instantly boost your run game defense and your rushing the passer defense, a physical freak, you bring him in. Now, the problem is when you gave up a second for Chase Claypool last year at the trade deadline, one of the things I really liked about that is you had 2 years left, right? You had this year, you had like the rest of the year, so a half a year to assimilate him to your culture, and then you got him for that whole next year. Problem with Montez Sweat is, no, he's a free agent when the season ends. It's very disappointing to me that here we are on Saturday morning. The trade deadline was Tuesday when the move was made, and there is still no long-term deal done for Montez Sweat. It's starting to become a disastrous just PR move for the Bears, and now Montez Sweat and his camp have all of the leverage. And the Chicago Bears, let's be honest, are not a well-run organization. They had to fire another coach this week. They've had to let go 2 coaches during the year because of HR weird reasons. And Montez Sweat and his agent are probably sitting there looking around the building going, listen, there's probably going to be a new head coach by the end of this year, and you don't know who they're going to bring in. How do I fit into the next guy's system? Why would I want to stay here? Why would I want to commit a long-term deal at any sort of discounted rate? You're going to have to overpay. So the Chicago Bears are going to end up overpaying and just contractually overpaying. Even if they got him as a free agent or what they're going to sign him, they're going to end up overpaying. And you gave him a second rounder to get him. So if Montez Sweat doesn't turn out to be a crucial part of a winning defense over the next 4 years for the Chicago Bears, this is an absolute disaster of a trade. And what sucks is that, what did I just say? You have to be a crucial part of a winning defense for the next 4 years. The chances of that happening with this team and this front office and the way this organization is built right now are slim and none. And it's not Montez Sweat's fault at all. And so this is troubling. And now, from just a fan perspective, I like my football team to have good players. And Montez Sweat is a good player that we didn't have before. So I'm excited about that. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm excited that Montez Sweat is on the football team. I want Montez Sweat on my football team. I want Montez Sweat for the next 4 years on my football team, racking up sacks and helping my team win games. So don't get me wrong. I mean, but just the way they went about it in a season that is lost, in a coaching staff that I think should be fired, you make a big move for a guy and you don't even sign him to a deal right away. They got to get this deal done soon so we can just forget about it. The Bears have the most cap space in the NFL. They're going to have it now. They have it in next year. So you got to spend money on someone. You're not going to be spending money on your quarterback, Justin Fields, or your rookie quarterback, whoever you get. So now is the time to overpay guys and spend a bunch of money. So I don't hate that. But overall, it just seems like, why did we give up a second rounder for someone who we could have just overpaid for it in the offseason? Now, I get what you're saying. Maybe you don't get a chance to sign him in the offseason and you need to just go get him into your program. But your program's a mess right now. So it may have done you a disservice because he's going to see what it's like for 8 games there and be like, yeah, I don't want to sign here no matter what the money is. So the Bears are in real trouble in that way, unless they can get a deal done quickly and the deal is somewhat understandable and reasonable and team friendly. If they can find a way to get a fairly team friendly deal done, then this can still be a win for the Bears. But right now, it's just a disaster. Finally, I will mention for Chase Young and the 49ers, this is the perfect trade. It's just perfect. The Niners are in win-now mode. The Niners don't care about Chase Young next year at all. The Niners would love to have Chase Young probably for a couple years and get him to a deal, but they don't have to do anything. Chase Young needs the Niners more than the Niners need Chase Young. But what the Niners are going to use Chase Young for right now is two things. He's in a contract year, so he's trying to put up as big a numbers as he can. He wants to come and be a part of a defense that hopefully can win some big games in some big moments in January and February. It helps the Niners. It helps Chase Young. Simpatico. I mean, how do you not think this is a massive win for the Niners? They could put him in on situational pass rushing downs with Bosa, Chase Young, Armstead. That defensive front is absolutely disgusting. I mean, nasty, nasty, nasty. And giving up a third is hefty for a true rental. But if it brings you to the Super Bowl and helps you get over that hump against the Eagles, no one's going to fault you for it. You did the right thing. Kudos to the Niners. And for the Vikings, quickly, they got Dobbs at the trade deadline. I think this was a smart move. I'm excited to watch Jaren Hall start for the rookie quarterback for the Vikings. We'll talk about that here in a second to see what he's got. But with Dobbs, what it basically assures your team is, like, hey, we're going to be competitive, in quotes, if you're not watching on the Facebook Live on the Mark HMO Facebook page. Be competitive while losing games, because that's exactly what Josh Dobbs was doing for the Cardinals. You now get to do that. And for the Vikings, finding a way to end up with a top 10 pick to go get your quarterback of the future is a really important thing for them right now with Addison, with Justin Jefferson, adding a Michael Penix Jr., adding a Drake May is going to be monumental for that football team. You're listening on the Mark News Talk 1070 KHMO and the KHMO app. When we come back, we got to break down every single game of Week 9 in the NFL. We're live and local in America's News Talk 1070 KHMO and the KHMO app, brought to you by Kunis Honda Hyundai.
You know Riverside Barbecue. KHMO.
Welcome on back to On the Mark here on News Talk 1070 KHMO and the KHMO app. We are brought to you by Kunis Honda Hyundai, your number one Honda and Hyundai dealer in the tri-state area. 221 North 36th Street in Quincy. You got to ask them about that lifetime powertrain, no fear warranty on the new and used vehicles. Tell them Mark sent you. Hey, before we get into the NFL games and breaking down every game in Week 9, shout out Hannibal Pirates. The chase for the state championship stays alive for the Hannibal Pirates. 48-27 win in Wentzville last night against Holt. The Monroe City Panthers, their dream comes to an end at the hand of Bowling Green, the Bobcats. 51-6 win at home. Big games today. Huge games today, actually. For QND, they're home against Nashville. Good luck to the Raiders. And the QHS Blue Devils are undefeated on the road in the suburbs against Wheaton North in Wheaton, Illinois. Good luck to the Blue Devils. And I think Brown County plays today as well. Shout out to them. Good luck, Brown County. All right, let's jump into it. Hespin headline number 2.
Hespin's headlines on the Mark.
Let's go through it. The full slate of games of Week 9 in the NFL. I want to start by talking about the Steelers' very impressive win on Thursday Night Football, taking care of Will Levis and the Titans 20-16. Will Levis had a chance late in the game with the ball in his hand and threw a pick. You know, he's going through the rookie struggles. I'll say this. That's where I want to start. If you're the Tennessee Titans, I think you absolutely should start Will Levis the rest of the year. He is it. He's the guy. He's got the talent. So now let him go through the growing pains. Let him build the relationship with DeAndre Hopkins. Let Will Levis make mistakes like that pick at the end of the game. The Tennessee Titans would be doing such a disservice if they go back to Ryan Tannehill. Stick with Levis. Let the kid play. Let the kid learn. Go through the growing pains. He's the opposite of Kenny Pickett, right? They're like the same amount of athleticism. The guys can move in the pocket, but Kenny Pickett is knife, dink, and dunk, accurate throws, underneath stuff. Let his big play wide receivers make plays. Will Levis is, I got a cannon. I got an absolute laser. Reminds me a lot of Jay Cutler. And I'm going to make mistakes. So let him learn these mistakes. He's got a great coach. Vrabel's not going anywhere. They'd be stupid if they let Vrabel go. He'd be scooped up in a half a second. He's a great football coach. They have some weapons. If I'm the Tennessee Titans, I'm all in on Will Levis for the rest of the year. That's what I would do. Now, for the Steelers, I mean, they are doing something that we haven't seen done since like the 1940s in the NFL. They are being outgained consistently. They cannot move the football, and yet they're winning games because Kenny Pickett does just enough not to make any killer mistakes, right? Just enough not to make the killer mistake, and that Steelers defense is very, very good and very well coached. They're 5-3. Listen, can the Steelers keep this up? Absolutely not. Can the Steelers in a big-time game against a Bills, a Ravens, a Chiefs, a Dolphins, where they need to score 30 points to win a game, can they do it? Absolutely not. But if any team plays down to their level where they get in the mud with the Steelers will beat them. They will. So they're going to try to drag teams down in the mud while their young quarterback, Kenny Pickett, still goes through some growing pains. I mean, he's only had 1 year now, literally, of starts. So I think it's just too early to completely write off Kenny Pickett. But again, if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, Kenny Pickett is in the category of Tua, Brock Purdy, Kirk Cousins. That's his category. We've seen enough to know that's where he lives. And we know that you can win a lot of games with that type of quarterback. That type of quarterback can lead you to a Super Bowl. We saw it with Jimmy G in the Niners. But you have to do a really good job of building your offensive game plan and structure to support that quarterback. And so far, I don't trust the Steelers to do that with Matt Canada. They're surviving off of big plays from big wide receivers, Pickens and Deontay Johnson, studs. But how long can that last? We'll see. All right, let's move on to it. I'll give you my lock and my upset when we get to them. Let's start with it. The Dolphins at the Chiefs. It is the Germany game, NFL Frankfurt game. The Chiefs are technically the home team. 6-2 Chiefs, 6-2 Dolphins. This is a massive game for playoff positioning. We're halfway through the season. You got to start thinking about that. The Chiefs coming off their first loss to the Broncos since 2015. The Dolphins finding their groove, but the Dolphins still haven't beaten anyone, right? The Dolphins' wins are against teams that they're supposed to beat. We haven't seen the Dolphins play up to their level of competition. The Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes was ill, he was sick, dealing with that loss. The reports are that he's feeling much better. Listen, if this game was in Kansas City, I would have the Chiefs in blowout fashion. But this game is in Frankfurt, Germany. The Chiefs didn't get to Germany until Thursday. I hate that. The Dolphins were in Germany on Monday. That matters. It really, really matters. Travis Kelce's answered questions at the podium about whether he's in love with Taylor Swift or not. His publicist is posting clown photos of Taylor Swift. A lot of noise around the Kansas City Chiefs. Listen, the Dolphins are very talented. Tyreek Hill, revenge game. Very good defensive coordinator in Vic Fangio. I think the Dolphins win this game. I think they were in Frankfurt, Germany. I know they were. On Monday, they had a 3-day head start acclimating to Frankfurt. The media, the play, the practice schedule and everything. The Chiefs did not. I like the Dolphins in a win over the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are the better football team. I think the Chiefs will win more games and end up winning, making the Super Bowl over the Dolphins. But in this spot, I don't think the Chiefs are taking this game seriously enough, getting there and waiting too long to get there. I think there's a lot of noise and distraction around the Chiefs. Chiefs are a really good football game. I think they're going to go on a 2-game skid and have to really regroup and refocus, and you'll see a really motivated Chiefs team here throughout the rest of the season. I like the Dolphins to win 33-27 in Frankfurt over the Chiefs in a really great, fun, amazing game if you can wake up early and watch it on the NFL Network. Vikings at the Falcons. We're getting rookie Jaren Hall Out of BYU for the Minnesota Vikings. Now that Kirk Cousins is out for the remainder of the season with the Achilles tear, and he is going to be starting against Taylor Heineke as Desmond Ritter's NFL dream is officially done. He could be a backup quarterback, but his dream of being a starting quarterback is officially done. With Jaren Hall and Clayton Tune, who we'll talk about here in a second with the Arizona Cardinals, 2 more rookie quarterbacks starting. We have now, through 9 games, had 9 rookie quarterbacks start NFL games. 9. The record for a season for rookie quarterbacks starting games is 9. So we've already tied the record, and we still got half a season to go. I think this is one of those things that we shouldn't be shocked about. Rookies are being thrown into the fray much sooner than they've ever been before. Teams look at their rookies as, our starter's done, just go to the rookie. You don't see the veteran backup guys getting the play anymore. It's go to the rookie, just see what the rookie has. Play the rookie. And part of that is, I think, because of Brock Purdy last year and just the rookie. Holy crap, look at the rookie. Look what he's got. So we're going to get to see what the rookie's got. Jaren Hall, the BYU quarterback. If the Vikings would have had a Teddy Bridgewater, a really nice backup quarterback like the Lions have right now, would they be more apt to win this game? Sure. But the problem is you're seeing teams, as soon as they lose their starter, they go into let's tank. There's none of that. The backup can lead us, and what can they do to pump us to victory? And teams are so just quick to, I want to see what the rookie has. Let's see what the rookie's got. Let's see. Maybe you have magic. Because when you're not paying a rookie quarterback anything, it opens up so much for your team. So you just want to see what the rookie has. Listen, the Vikings at the Falcons, I think the Vikings are the better team. The problem is they're starting a kid who's a first start ever, and rookie quarterback's first start ever just never goes well. You got to take the Falcons in this spot. Would I be shocked if the Vikings win? No, because I think they're a really good football team that's playing good football and is well coached. But the Falcons are at home. They have Taylor Heineke, the veteran. I think he'll take the Falcons somewhere along the lines of 24-17 in a nice win for the Falcons. They're favored by 3.5. I think they cover. The Cardinals at the Browns, same thing. I mean, the Browns they say they're starting Deshaun Watson. Cardinals starting Clayton Tune. If the Browns don't win this game, then they're in a world of trouble. I think the Browns win, and I think they win pretty easily. Josh Dobbs was a good spark for the Cardinals, but the Cardinals are now 100% in on the tank mode. They could finish the season now with less than 3 or 4 wins, depending on what Kyler Murray does. Kyler Murray's now ready to come back and play. If this is maybe that kind of final spark, they need to get Kyler Murray back, but the Cardinals are not a good football team on the road against a very good defense that gets their guy back who's going to be very motivated with all the whispers and rumors about what Deshaun Watson's doing and not competing for his team. I like the Browns in this game. Something along the lines of 24-10, and they cover pretty easily. Rams on the road against the Packers. This one's tough because Matt Stafford, if he plays, I like the Rams. If he doesn't play, I like the Packers. It's going to be a game time decision. So I'd stay away from this gambling wise. Listen, the Packers are on a 3-game skid. The Jordan Love experience has been bad, really, really bad over the last 3 games. He has not played well. The Rams are feisty, especially when they have Matt Stafford, and they can score. If Stafford plays, I know this is a cop-out. I know it is. But if Stafford plays, I like the Rams. If Stafford doesn't play, take the Packers. I think it's as simple as that. If you're a betting person, again, I'd stay away from this game because you don't know what Stafford's going to do. But if Stafford plays, take the Rams -3. If Stafford's out, take the Packers -3. Take the Rams +3 if Stafford plays. Take the Rams -3 if Stafford doesn't play. Packers. This is a gut check game for the Green Bay Packers. It really is. You've got to win this game no matter who plays a quarterback for the Rams. Like, it is a gut check game, right? You are in a tailspin. The season is falling apart. This wasn't supposed to be a season that you're competing for a Super Bowl, but you trade a good corner away. You sign your pass rusher, Gary. But this was a season that you should be in that wild card hunt. I mean, the 7th seed in the NFC is wide open. And the Green Bay Packers absolutely should be a team that we're talking about as a 7th seed wild card team for the NFC, and they are plummeting right now. And so this is a huge gut check game for the Green Bay Packers. Commanders at the Patriots again. What do we do here? The Commanders offense I trust. The Patriots offense I don't. The Patriots defense I trust. The Commanders are now bare and cupboard on defense. What do you do? It's in New England. I mean, it's a coaching mismatch, right? Mismatch. Why was I struggling saying mismatch? The Commanders played. What an ugly game. Again, it's so funny because I told you, I'm like, there's just a bunch of ugly games. Like, what do you do with Rams Packers? What do you do with Commanders Patriots? I don't know. What do you do? People were like, Mark, you're struggling with picking games this year. Like, Commanders Patriots. What do I do? You got Sam Howell, who I like. He's playing good football. Mac Jones in the Patriots offense is trash, but it's in New England. The Washington Commanders just traded their 2 best defensive players. I'm taking the Commanders. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking the Commanders. I don't know why. Because Sam Howell, he's playing better football. Eric Bieniemy. I don't think the Patriots can score points. I don't know what to do. This is one of those, like, as an NFL fan, it's a funny game. You talk to people, you're like, and if you're a fan of either of these teams, let's be honest, no one wants to win this game at this point, right? Right? Maybe if you're a Commanders fan, you know what? Here, I'll convince myself of taking the Commanders this way. There's no scheming going into this. This is all gut. Next man up mentality for the Commanders, right? You trade away guys. Everyone's assuming you're going into the tank, so dudes are going to step up and play well. And the Patriots stink. We got to just stop. We just got to admit the Patriots stink. So let's go with the Commanders. Zero confidence in the Commanders. Bears at the Saints. Do I have to? Do I have to talk about this game? Tyson Bagent, part 3. What do we got? Listen, I'll say this. In trying to analyze this game, I'll say this. I think the Bears defense can shut down what New Orleans does well, because New Orleans is a lot of underneath dink and dunk. And I think the Bears can do that. Eddie Jackson comes back. I hope Montez Sweat plays. Even like a small package of just get in there, rush the passer sometimes. So I'll look for that. The Saints, obviously, you're at home. They are the better football team with the much better quarterback. They're going to win the game. I say the Bears cover the 8, though. I think this is an ugly, gross game. 20-17, Saints win comfortably, but it's never fun to watch. You know what I mean? Olave will bust one for a big touchdown. Kamara's going to have just a massive day. He's going to have an Austin Eckler type day. We're going to get Alvin Kamara to death if we're as Bears fans. Saints win. Bears stink. Can't wait to get. I think DJ Moore has a nice game though. I think DJ Moore finds a touchdown here, and I can't wait to. As a Bears fan, I can't wait to get Justin Fields back. Let's move on. Seahawks Ravens. This is a good game. A really good game, and I like the Ravens at home. The Ravens, this is a big separation game for them, right? They're 6-2. Someone is going to lose between the Chiefs and the Dolphins. The Steelers are hot on their heels. Huge game Sunday Night Football for the Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals, drawing a blank there. Massive game for the Baltimore Ravens, and I think they play well. They're at home. I think it's a really good game. 30-27, both teams play well. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson has an MVP-type day. Geno makes a crucial mistake late. For the Seahawks fans, losing on the road to the Ravens in a close game, nothing to be ashamed about that. I think the Ravens might be the third best team in football this morning. And so I'll take the Ravens to win at home. Lamar is great against the NFC. He's great at home. He's playing electric football so far this year. Kenneth Walker III, if the Seattle wins, if they can dominate time of possession. If Seattle goes in there with Walker and those backs and they dominate time of possession and they don't turn the ball over, Seattle can win this game. I think that's going to be really hard for them to do against a really good Raiders defense and a Ravens offense that is explosive, just absolutely explosive. And when you play from behind, if you're the Seahawks, it's hard to commit to running the football. I'll take the Ravens at home, but I still haven't got to my lock or my upset of the week. Buccaneers, Texans, final noon game. I'll take the Texans. Two teams that are competing, two teams that have surprised me so far with how well they're competing. But I think the Texans, coming off of an ugly loss back at home, they get their offense moving again. The young quarterback, C.J. Stroud, getting a little confidence going again. 1,800 yards, 9 touchdowns, only 1 interception on the year. I think C.J. Stroud can exploit that Tampa Bay defense. Tampa Bay, I think they'll be inspired by the fact that they didn't blow it up at the trade deadline, and good for them for sticking through it. And, Mike Evans, Buck for life. I think this will be actually maybe the second most entertaining game to watch in the noon slate. Really fun. 27-20. Texans win at home, and they continue their march towards maybe, squeaking in to the playoffs in the AFC. Colts, Panthers in the first game of that kind of weird afternoon slot, the 3:05 slot. Colts will win. Panthers got a W, but that's going to be it. They're not good. The Panthers are not good. Colts are feisty. Colts can score. Colts will win. The Panthers can't score consistently enough. Minshew will turn the ball over, but he'll also find the end zone. Zach Moss have a nice day running the football. Panthers defense is not good enough. Colts will win 23-17 in Carolina. But Bryce will play well because the Colts defense isn't great. Bryce will play well and keep encouraging the Panthers fans. Giants Raiders, we have hit my upset of the week. The Giants +2 in Vegas versus the Raiders. Hear me out. Daniel Jones is back. Danny Dimes. We get Danny Dimes back. Daniel Jones. This is going to be disgusting football to watch. But I can't wait to watch it. Aiden O'Connell, interim head coach. So you get a rookie quarterback, interim head coach Antonio Pierce, former great Giants linebacker. I think the Raiders in the first half are going to come out firing. It's going to be feisty. It's going to be, let's go. No one believed in us. But I think Daniel Jones and this Giants football team, Brian Daboll, I think they find a way to squeak out a win in the second half. He's the better quarterback. This Giants team, I think, with Saquon Barkley, will find a way to win this game. Ugly, disgusting, 20-13 win on the road. Giants not only cover, they win outright. My upset of the week, the G-Men. Daniel Jones is back. Saquon Barkley, big game. He finds the end zone in a win against the Raiders. The Raiders are bad. They lost to the Bears. They're bad. And they are now coached by interim coach. They're going to be fired up. Don't get me wrong. They might get out to a 13-0 lead. Giants are going to win this game. And now let's get to my lock of the week. It is the game of the week, and it is the lock of the week. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to manhandle the Dallas Cowboys in Philly. Take the Eagles -3, lock of the week. The Eagles going to win this game 30-17 at home against the Cowboys. Dak's going to throw 2 picks. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are going to blow out the Cowboys. It's not even going to be as close as 30-17. It'll be 30-10, late score Dallas. This is going to be Eagles blowout. I love the Eagles. They're at home. It's going to be fine weather-wise. Everyone's kind of like, oh, is Jalen Hurts injured? A.J. Brown is a man on fire. He is a man on fire. Jalen Hurts has been playing MVP-level football. The Eagles punch the Cowboys in the mouth. They dominate Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott shrivels in a big game. I can't wait to watch the Eagles destroy the Cowboys. They're going to win 30-17, lock of the week. Fly, Eagles, fly. Fly, Eagles, fly. Cowboys fall to 5-3. Eagles move to 8-1. Eagles with the most impressive win in Week 9 of the NFL season. Sunday Night Football, Bills at the Bengals. You're listening on the Mark, News Talk 1070 KHMO and the KHMO app, brought to you by Cunis Honda Hyundai. Listen, can't wait to watch this game. It's going to be emotional. The Bengals host the Bills. Damar Hamlin, obviously, this is going to be a very emotional game. I will say, I love the Bengals. Love the Bengals. Joe Burrow has been playing out of his mind recently. I think this is a high-scoring affair. I love that the Bills got a corner from the Packers at the trade deadline. Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen are putting up big numbers right now. Their connection is great. But I think Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow at home, Joey B in big games, prime time. This is the battles you'll love to watch. I think the Bengals improve to 5-3. The Bills fall to 5-4 in a really close 33-30 late field goal drive win for the Bengals. This might be the most fun game of the weekend. But the most impressive win of the weekend will still be the Eagles dominating the Cowboys. I love the Bengals over the Bills. The key for the Bills can win this game. The Bills will have to make Joe Burrow's life a living you-know-what. Can they get after him early? Can they get after that offensive line? If they can do that, they can win. I don't think they will. I think the offensive line holds up for the Bengals, and it's a shootout. It's just a really fun shootout. A lot of points. Points. Chargers, Jets, Monday Night Football. Listen, the Jets can't score, but their defense is really good. The Chargers' offense is very good, but they have a dumb head coach, and the Chargers are on the road. So this is one of those anything goes. If you tell me the Jets win, I'd believe you. You tell me the Chargers win, I'd be like, no, of course the Chargers win. It's Zach Wilson. I'll take the Chargers. They find a way to keep writing their season. The Jets keep finding a way to hover around 500, just keeping that Aaron Rodgers looming in the back of our head. Chargers win ugly 20-13 on the road against the Jets. Justin Herbert doesn't play great against that Jets defense, but Zach Wilson makes the big mistake late. The Chargers get a defensive score. Chargers win Monday Night Football. Ugly. They find a way to get back to 500. Both those teams 500, fighting for wild card playoff spots. You're listening on the Mark, News Talk 1070 KHMO and the KHMO app. Philly -3, lock of the week. Giants +2, upset of the week. On the Mark, News Talk 1070 KHMO and the KHMO app.
Times of transition, whether from a sad event or a joyful one, can leave us feeling adrift. Social connections become even more important. Being isolated and lonely can be harmful to your health. It can lead to high blood pressure, a greater risk of heart disease, and early onset dementia. So it's important to build and maintain connections to people whose relationships bring meaning to your life. Try a new hobby, volunteer, exercise, or use your phone or other device to stay in touch. These can be great ways to keep up your social connections and your physical and mental well-being. Visit connecttoeffect.org to see if you're at risk of social isolation and find ways to stay connected. Presented by AARP Foundation with support from United Healthcare.
Hi, this is G forecast from the News Talk 1070 KHMO Weather Center. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun today with a high of 61. Northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 38 tonight. Clear skies. Highs around 66 tomorrow. A mix of clouds and sun. Right now 43.
Welcome on back to On the Mark here on News Talk 1070 KHMO. The KHMO app brought to you by Kunis Honda Hyundai, your number one Honda and Hyundai dealer in the tri-state area. They're also the buying center of the tri-states. If you need to sell a car, go to Kunis Honda Hyundai. They will buy it from you. Kelley Blue Book valuations. And they always got checks waiting. So no hassling, no meeting up with creepy dudes on Facebook Messenger. Kunis Honda Hyundai, 221 North 36th Street in Quincy. Tell them Mark sent you. Huge weekend of college football. 4 games I want to mention. You know, what I call this weekend of college football is post-college football playoff rankings. You know, now that the rankings come out. Everyone, this is like the how do you respond weekend, right? Because it seems like Georgia will be like, we're disrespected. They put us at 2. You know, like we're going to overreact. We're going to overdo it, which is why I have Mizzou upsetting Georgia. Listen, I love Mizzou. Luther Burden III, the wide receiver, Brady Cook, the quarterback, Schrader, the running back. They have a potent offense. Mizzou can score. At Georgia, I'm taking Mizzou in the upset over the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia's going to be too emotional in this game. They're going to want to try to prove something in this game. We should be number one. I think, you know, they're without their best player in Brock Bowers. I think Mizzou goes into Athens and upsets the Bulldogs, and you can listen to that game right here on News Talk 1070 KHMO. Kansas State, number 23, 6-2 at Texas, 7-1. Huge game for Texas, another ranked opponent for them at home. Put up big numbers, put up a big win, help build your resume BCS style so you can position yourself when those top teams fall, when Georgia has a slip, or when Ohio State and Michigan play each other and someone loses, you can slide right up on in there. I'm taking Texas. I'm taking Mizzou to upset Georgia. Washington, number 5, 8-0 at USC, number 20. I think Caleb Williams, Michael Penix Jr., I'm taking USC. This always happens at the Pac-12. They cannibalize each other. This is Pac-12 101. USC, late game, Caleb Williams, national stage. I think he has a massive game as he's trying to rebound his sure pick number 1 status as he beats up on Washington. I like the Trojans. Give me the Trojans in a huge, big scoring fest, big numbers for him and Penix Jr. Big day, bounce back day for Caleb Williams. And then LSU at Alabama. No quarterback has beaten Nick Saban twice in back-to-back years. Jane Daniels has a chance to do that. The last quarterback to do it was Drew Brees when Saban was at Michigan State. Roll Tide. They'll take care of LSU. Alabama, again, doing what Texas is doing, finding a way to position themselves with a big win against a good opponent, ranked win, so when the top teams fall, they slide in. Careful, Ohio State at Rutgers. This Rutgers team is feisty. You just got that number 1 status. Look out, Ohio State is on upset alert. I think they win, but a little bit of upset alert. And a big day for Clemson. Clemson, do you have any fight? Can you put up any sort of fight against Notre Dame? Wrapping up the show next on the Mark News Talk 1070 KHMO and the KHMO app.
A healthy way, KHMO.
Welcome on back to On the Mark here on News Talk 1070 KHMO and the KHMO app. Brought to you by Kunis Honda Hyundai. They are the number 1 Honda and Hyundai dealer in the tri-state area, and they have over 3,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. Stop by the dealership. Go to shopkunis.com. Tell them Mark sent you. 221 North 36th Street in Quincy. All right. Final bit of the show here. Just got a couple minutes left. The NBA in-season tournament is officially underway. I like the idea. I really do. I like the idea of taking some regular season games and just giving them some extra meaning to them. Here's what I would already say they should redo. This should be March Madness NBA style, right? I mean, this should be absolute March Madness NBA style. They kicked off the games yesterday. I think you start the games. This is what I would do in the future if I'm the NBA. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Have a bunch of games all at all times. They start the games at 10 a.m. like they do at March Madness and have them broadcast. big, just start the games. What is so successful about that first weekend of March Madness? The gambling. I can sit here as a man at work on my phone watching and gambling on games at 10 a.m. that are meaningful games. Do this and start them early and just force it into like 2 weeks as opposed to like drawing it out and the winter happens in December, but it starts in November. I like the idea. I like the start. You start somewhere. Group play, I kind of like it. Start somewhere. And now let's build on it. Make them day games all day long. Capitalize when there's no NFL football. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursday during the game day. You know what I mean? And then you compete with Thursday Night Football. Who cares? And then do it within a 2-week span. Urgency, day games, not competing against anyone else, and really make it something special. And I would go neutral sites. I mean, I know it's hard because you want the home games, but I would try to build it towards that. And just make it March Madness only in the NBA. Just call it November Madness. I mean, don't rewrite history here. I think they got something. It's fun. I think there's ways to improve it. Finally, congrats to Texas Rangers. They won the World Series. Congrats. Corey Seager's a stud, earning his contract. You know, how many guys do they sign to a big contract, and they're just, Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis, all these guys, they're just doing nothing. So Corey Seager just won a World Series MVP. He's earning that contract. He's already earned it. He brought you a World Series, first time in franchise history. Enjoy your weekend. Great college football today. Go Tigers. Go Mizzou. Upset Georgia. I'm counting on you. I think they can shock the world. Tomorrow, Chiefs, Ravens game, couple big games. Enjoy it. Follow me on Twitter at Mark Hespin. Let's talk football all weekend long. Have a good one. Shout out Kunis Honda Hyundai.
Upgrade your home and get 11%